World of YouTube, Careful Sight here. And a video I watched today literally sparked in my memory a little billboard I took a picture of. And I believe this was in 2016 maybe. And oh man. And like I said, it sparked a hard memory, and I forgot I had this. And I was going to go over this at one point in time. But I'm glad this video that I saw today, from the other video I put up of that kid, Harley Dilly, the YouTuber that covers that story. He also covered the next story I'm gonna bring forth. And everything else, like I say, when something needs to be addressed, I'm the addresser. Especially stuff like this, because I have been around foster kids. I was fortunate enough never make it in foster care, but surprisingly, I'm surprised that I didn't. But, you know, things happen for a reason. And yes, some foster kids are very, you know, some are far from help. Some are the best kids you could ever meet. Mind you, one of my dear closest friends that passed away in 2019, Robert Beastie Baldwin. He was a foster kid. And it sucks the last time I saw him. I mean, literally saw him. We were both in friggin' jail together. But, he was telling me some very demented stuff that had happened with the foster parent. Now, well, I ain't gonna mention his name, but he was a well-respected man at the time. But of course, after the story I was told, I was shaking my head and couldn't believe the words that were coming out of this kid's mouth. And I mean, not believing the story he was telling me, just not believing that this well-respected person could have done something in this manner. And I did literally, I mean, I really got ticked off and really felt bad for my boy there, Mr. Beastie. And I made it to his funeral and left one of the accomplished photos he got from middle school. And I do still get choked up thinking about that kid, man, because he was definitely a character, and he was definitely a friggin' real down-to-earth person. So, I mean, with that being said, man, and he was in foster care. And when he did, I'm glad that he did end up in ways with this foster parent, but in other ways, it's like, wow, man, how do you do something? And I'm not going to mention the story, but I can tell you it had to do with, you know, relationships. If that can put a posture into your memory. And I'm just floored, and I don't even want to speak of it because it just friggin' disgusts me. And that's one story right there, why, right here, that is the story that made me take a picture of this billboard. And the next story that I'm going to go over, and I'm sure there's many, many, probably millions more about bad foster parents. But due to the fact that my boy there, Beastie, went to a foster care and he was treated badly, I mean, when I saw this friggin' billboard, I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding me. You don't have to be a perfect parent. You know, you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. My ass. And it's the people that have the darkest secrets and the darkest intentions that you do not see forth. And I have seen some other kids get treated like crap through foster homes. And there have been reports of foster kids dying in foster care. Because for one, I don't care if a person has a clean record or not. It doesn't mean their mind don't twist by getting someone else's child. And, all of a sudden have cruel intentions turned towards that kid. You do have to be perfect in ways. Because if you don't, well, here comes DCF. If you don't, you could wind up dead from your child. If you do not try and run things, strictly, but it's got to be, not to where the point you pressure that kid into explosion of the mind. It's got to be something. I mean, I just watched also a video today. It wasn't even it was the biological kid. But the kid had autism, another autism case. And this autism this kid had was making her violent. And she was going after people. And the mother tried doing a murder-suicide. Lucky thing, and thankfully the kid survived. No, the kid did not survive. Sorry. The mother survived. But I'm glad she's rightfully behind frickin' bars. That's another whole story I might go over, but... when you get foster kids, you don't know. Now, say that kid got taken from that family. Say so that kid with autism and violence goes into a foster family. At first everything was fine, of course, but then all of a sudden she started having violent outbreaks in school and in facilities. But say that kid did go to foster care and started doing that to other kids or the parents. That's a whole big burden on someone if you can't deal with that kind of type of child. Let alone being your own child. And that's why I say all the frickin' time now, there needs to be a definite schooling course on parenting. And I don't need a babbling, stupid few months in high school or a few months. There needs to be a course that runs year-round. Up to about a certain age. Because I'm for damn sure if you can't make it through the baby stages, and them are the ones where the kids really get, brutalized between the ages of birth and 5 years old. If you can't handle them years, then there's no perfect parent. There's no parent at all. It's called don't even have a kid. You need to get rid of these people, genes, and do something with them. It's just a freaking nightmare out there. And for what this woman did, that we're gonna go over, proves my point of what needs to be done, and especially during adoption. And she had 3 of her own biological kids, but yet, and mind you, she had a YouTube page. She was the sole maker of all the videos. She was writing the content or whatnot, making the kids do this kind of content. We're gonna get to that now. Oh man, wait till you see what I have on these next videos. Especially this one here. Oh my God. What a Fruit Loop. Now, I'm only gonna show the back of this woman and her name. I'm not even gonna show her face, because she don't deserve the publicity of what she's already gotten. She was making big money. but the Fantastic Adventures. As you can see, 800,000 subscribers. She was making some big bucks with these kids, and they were all adopted. Up until her biological daughter came over, she was in some of the skits. She didn't realize what was going on, and then one day when she did walk in and see what was going on, especially a kid being locked in a closet, because if they once missed their lines or did not do what was scripted that this woman wrote, they would go days without eating. They would get locked up in a closet. They would get beat and punched with her fist, beat with a belt, whatever the case may be. She was totally abusing them and using them to make a profit. So for anybody to look at that billboard I showed, you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Oh my God, just let that sign go about. Just let that sign get stuck out into the world. And people that have deranged minds but with no record and can get adoption papers done because, right, they have this, no record. How sick can this world be? You've seen what the sign showed. It showed a .org thing you can go on. And tell me, because that woman had 3 kids of her own, no record, this woman's probably good for adoption. But this is her name, and this is the fat slob. And I didn't get the guys. Michelle Hobson, child abuse suspect. I don't even think she went to jail for this stuff. I think they were saying she might have got out. Lack of evidence, lack of this, or lack of something. But this woman used to beat these kids, stick them in closets, use them for her, making her wealth. And just going on about her daily day, like, nothing's going on here, nothing's wrong here. And then she started to even take these kids out of school just to make these videos. Once again, getting paid good money. And these kids were getting pretty much nothing. Just a roof over their head, a meal, when the woman felt like giving them a meal. And it's people like this that see them billboard signs. And I think it's pretty damn sick. See, I know another group of people that had a kid. At the time, I wasn't thinking of it, but, it was just a, kind of awkward situation. But it wasn't no serious abuse. I could see, but then later on, some stuff started coming out. And by the time anything could have been said and done, kid was already gone. It was like there one minute, gone the next. I was fortunate enough to meet the little guy, and just because one thing that I remember specifically about this kid and all his weird behaviors. And I can't say much, but I can tell you this. There was a family member that I don't know if it would have been his second cousin or maybe even an uncle. But who that kid got taken away from, all I can say is that person was a murderer. So there's a long line of craziness in the family. And like I said, I didn't learn till later on about all this. So I would have friggin' said or done something, but one main thing, this kid used to wear rain boots. Everywhere he went, rain boots. Who cares if the kid wears rain boots? That really took upon someone's mind that was taking care of him. Oh my God, do you believe this kid? You know, obviously they felt embarrassed or whatnot. I mean, like I said, I don't think there was no serious physical abuse. I don't think there might have been, I can't say any mental abuse, but from what I know, that kid was gone for some apparent reason. So something must have happened down the line. It's like I said, I wasn't really noticing, you know, serious stuff, but when that kid ended up out of the house and it used to drive me crazy with these rain boots. It's like, what the f? And then later on, I learned about some people. And I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. But I don't want to say no, I can't say no names. Because I don't want that kid, you know, for wherever he may be, to be caught up with in the end. Something, you know, someone bothering him. But little things that I catch throughout life, especially hanging around with my boy back in the day, and there was other kids that I knew that I used to hang with. You know, even though I had my parents, they might have been split up, but I still had them. I never went once into a foster home, but I used to always get them kids that had a missing father or in a foster home. Something about getting dragged towards them, you know. I did kind of feel like some lost soul, like them. I'm gonna get off that fat slob. I can't stand people that friggin' do that crap. And then Dream Machine Adventure, Sneaky Dreamland, and Nerf Battle. So, I mean, these kids used to do, everything I seen on this video was Nerf guns. Chasing each other through the house, through the yard, around the house. Shooting each other. Capturing each other or slapping a pie like the Three Stooges in their face. It was all some type of comical stuff. I mean, it did look real innocent, but when that daughter came in and saw that little kid, one of the kids locked up in the closet, well, there it all went. At least that girl, I don't know where she got the brains from anything, but probably her father's side, not the mother. But it is, I mean, just very disturbing. And to see that billboard, you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Well, in my eyes, if you're adopting someone's kid, you do need to be perfect. Because you're taking on someone that you have no relations to. You're taking on someone that could have the most, you know, horrifyingest, or let alone most sympatheticest feelings or horrifying nightmarish things they could do. You don't know what's in that family gene history to lay it all down on the line. Just like the movie Orphan. Woman's got dwarfism and likes going around chasing men. And that story right there, man, is just would be typical of a dwarf, because say so a woman of that size and nature, because of right. She probably couldn't, you know, get a, if there is women like that, they probably couldn't get a steady man because they look like a kid. I mean, there are some fetish people out there that would probably say, hey, yeah, but, you know, sometimes you got to think of the worst, because these kids come from places of unknown. And I don't care what anybody says, they might get thoroughly checked just like the parents supposedly get thoroughly checked, but you cannot always take that check to be accurate. You don't know what lies within the history of anybody's past, especially when they ain't got no record. So to say you don't have to be a perfect parent to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Yeah, sure. I don't know, man. Me personally, I wouldn't be able to adopt someone's kid due to the fact that I'm old-fashioned. You know, I was brought into this life to bring in a family of my own. Adopting, like I said, and I don't know what the lies behind all that. Don't get me wrong. I feel sorry for all them kids, man. Each and every one of them. I wish I could help in other ways, but adopting them, nah, I can't do that. I wouldn't be able to, but if one day I can help them, like I say, if my channel blows up, oh, hell yeah, I'll help them in any way I can try to do. But until then, now I'm struggling, little YouTube channel. You know, gratefully what I've gotten now. I've seen some new subscribers come. I've seen some, deactivate off, unsubscribe. So, I don't know, whatever. But I have been moving up slowly the charts. And hopefully one day, like I say, man, if I get somewhere, I'm going to do the best I can to do what I can to help people in ways I hopefully can get that far. But all in all, man, just thinking about stuff like that and seeing that sign and billboard and knowing people like my good man Beastie that went through some traumatizing times through adoption, foster care, it just don't rattle my cage, man. It just it ain't right. But I'm glad these kids are now safe, taken out of a monster's hands. And all I can say is that I hope any other adopted kid, obviously gets adopted by good people, not scumbags like this, in for their profit, in for their nature, in for their style of life. Don't care about nothing but themselves, self-centered. Nobody should endure this kind of stuff. But until that next video, be safe, take care. If you are foster kids that understand this, beware. Always make sure you're going to have a good place to go. But then again, some of you don't even know where the hell or how to even start to go anywhere. So it's tough, man. It's tough. I hear you all. I do feel sorry. I wish I could help one day. Hopefully I can help. I don't know. See what happens. Until that next video, man. Fantastic adventures. Hope that fat piece of crap is flopped on her face. For what she did to these kids, that's sick, man. Just sick. Just sick. Out.